We have learned thus far that there are 10 rules that govern subject-verb agreement, and we have covered the first 6. So let's review those first 6 rules, then we will cover the next 4. Rules number 1 and number 2 are found in Wednesday's class notes. Rules number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6 are found in Thursday's class notes or in Thursday's video. I realize that you were not in school on Thursday, so you were probably unable to print out the note sheet, but you may also find those in Thursday's video. I do encourage you, if you have a printer at home, to print out the note sheet and fill it out for your notebook and for your reference in studying. So let's move forward. Rule number 1 in plain English states this: when there are words between the subject and the verb, ignore them. Here's a good example. The pretty bird outside my window hums a catchy tune. The words outside my window are stuck between the subject and the verb, and they can easily confuse this. So let's make them disappear. And we see the pretty bird hums a catchy tune. Now we draw our line between the subject and the predicate, and we see that bird is the subject and it is singular. So we use a singular verb, hums. So hums is our verb and it is singular. That's rule number 1. When there are words between the subject and verb, ignore them. Rule number 2 in plain English states this: when the subject contains or, nor, either, or neither, ignore everything before the last word of the subject. Here's a good example. Marvin or Reggie uses peanut butter to style his hair. So since there is the word or in the subject, let's ignore or and everything before it. So we gray them out and we see Reggie uses peanut butter to style his hair. Reggie is one person, so that's singular. So we know that our verb should be uses and not use. Reggie uses peanut butter to style his hair. Again, rule number 1 in plain English: when the subject contains or, nor, either, or neither, ignore everything before the last word of the subject. Rule number 3 says, when subjects are joined by and or both and, the verb is plural. In this example below, we see the following. Both Samantha and Jenny play the tuba with their toes. So we have 2 subjects. Samantha is one, Jenny is the other. They're joined by the word and. So since they're joined by the word and this one also has both in it, the verb is plural because there are definitely 2 subjects. It's the same thing as saying they. Samantha and Jenny is the equivalent of they. So again, rule number 3, when subjects are joined by and or both and, the verb is always plural. To understand rule number 4, we first need to define indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronouns do not refer to a specific person, place, or thing. So the indefinite pronouns below are always singular. So when used as a subject, they require a singular verb. Those indefinite pronouns are anybody, nobody, everybody, somebody, no one, anyone, neither, each, everyone, someone, either, one. Here's a good example below. Neither of the space aliens needs glasses. We have those words in between our true subject and verb, so we take those out. Put a line between the subject and verb. Neither is our subject. Neither is an indefinite pronoun. Doesn't refer to a specific alien. Since it's singular, then we use needs instead of need. We use a singular verb. Again, rule number 4, if any of these indefinite pronouns are used, they're always singular, so you always use a singular verb. Rule number 5 says this: these particular indefinite pronouns are always plural. When one of these is used as the subject, naturally we need a plural verb. Those words are both, few, many, and several. So anytime the subject is both, few, many, or several, you pretend it's more than one and use a plural verb. Here's an example below. Many of the students play football. So let's get rid of the words in between, draw a line between the subject and verb, and we see that many is our true subject, so it needs a plural verb. Many is always more than one, so we use the verb play instead of plays. Again, if you use these pronouns, they're always plural, so you use a plural verb afterward. Rule number 6 says this: these pronouns can be either singular or plural, depending on the word to which they refer. Those words are all, any, most, none, or some. So it depends on the word these words are referring to as to whether we go with singular or plural. Here's one example. Most of the blanket covers the bed. We scratch out of the blanket, that's in the way. So most is our subject, covers is our verb. Most refers to something singular in this case, one blanket. So we use a singular verb, covers. So again, these words can go either way depending on the word to which they refer. Here's an example where it works the other way. Some of the shirts fade after they are washed once. So we get rid of the shirts, that's in the way. We see that some is our to subject, fade is our true verb. We've chosen a plural verb because some refers to shirts and there's more than one shirt. So in this case, we treat some like it's plural. So some of the shirts fade. Again, these pronouns can go either way. It depends on the word to which they refer. Well, that's a wrap up of our review of the first 6 rules. Now let's move forward and cover the final 4 rules of subject-verb agreement. Rule number 7. Use a singular verb with a collective noun that is used as a unit. Use a plural verb with a collective noun that is used as an individual. Now, before we can make sense of this, we have to define collective nouns. Collective nouns are names for a collection or a group of things. Collective nouns are in a class all their own. They do their own thing. I'm going to give you 9 examples, and I think that will better help you understand what a collective noun is. Our class took a field trip to the Natural History Museum. Class is a group of students. The herd of bison ran across the prairie, leaving a massive dust cloud in its wake. A herd is a group of bison. We waited anxiously for the jury to come to a verdict. A jury is a group of people making a legal decision. This year's basketball team includes 3 players who are over 6 feet tall. A team is a group of basketball players. Napoleon's army was finally defeated at Waterloo. An army is a group of soldiers. The town council has approved plans to create a new park. A council is a group of lawmakers. So that gives you a better idea of what collective nouns are and how they are used. So, if a collective noun is used as a unit, we use a singular verb to go with it. If a collective noun is used to refer to some individuals, we use a plural noun to go with it. Here's what that looks like in real life. Look at the first sentence. Our family enjoys this restaurant. Now, family is a group of relatives, but it's still one unit, so we treat it singular. Family enjoys. Look at the second example. Families enjoy this restaurant. In this case, there are several units of family members, so it's plural. There's more than one family. So families enjoy this restaurant. That's plural. Rule number 8 says a word expressing an amount, measurement, or weight is usually considered singular. That one's pretty easy. Just look at the example below. $10 is the cost of a large pizza. So $10, that's an amount, so we treat it like it's just one thing. Think of a $10 bill in this example. So $10, that one amount of money is singular, the cost of a large pizza. Rule number 9 says some nouns, such as mathematics, economics, and news, look plural, but they're really singular. So treat them as if they're singular. Here's a good example. Mathematics is difficult for crickets and frogs. I have never seen one pass a math class. So mathematics sounds like more than one thing, but it's really just one subject at school. That makes it singular. So mathematics is difficult instead of mathematics are difficult. Words like mathematics, economics, and news look plural, but they're really singular, so use them in a singular form. Finally, rule number 10. It says titles are singular, even if they look plural. Here's an example with which we're all familiar. The Hunger Games is an amazing book. So in this case, we're not talking about a bunch of games. We're talking about the title of one book. The Hunger Games, the book, is an amazing book. So in this case, the Hunger Games is one book, and that makes it singular. So again, rule number 10 says titles are always singular, even if they appear to be plural. To sum up today's class, today we took a virtual visit to the living quarters of Anne Frank. We then continued our study of subject-verb agreement with a focus on singular and plural nouns and verbs. For the remainder of the class period, let's practice these concepts. Using your Chromebook, go into Google Classroom and open the classwork assignment for today. While I am out, all assignments will be through Google Classroom. Feel free to work with one partner. As always, this will be graded and posted, so please take your time, read the directions and the questions very closely, and be very precise with your answers. If you do not finish during class, make sure that you submit it within the next 24 hours to avoid receiving a late penalty. Once again, I miss you guys. I'm so proud of you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.